out. I hope you guys can hear me clearly, and I hope that it's not choppy. I have a lot of information that I'm ready to share with you guys, but first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for trusting me tonight to be on your call, your team call. You guys are amazing. Here's so many great things about you, and I'm just really, really grateful to be on this call with you guys tonight. So the things that I want to cover, I like to call them the top 7 rules of social media. And I know that sounds like crazy, 7 rules you've got for us, but I've really broken it down. I've done many calls of this nature, and I've figured out what helps people get focused when it comes to social media and what doesn't. So I've broken it down to 7 rules, and I hope tonight they can help you. But before we get into that, I want to go into, and this is a little bit off topic, but I want to go into what I believe is our #1 focus as coaches, okay, and as leaders, because each one of you guys is a leader in your organization, okay? So while you might be learning from Kathy or other leaders in our team, Christina Delgado, Becky Brissett, all these amazing leaders we have around us, you and yourself are a leader, okay? And what you learn to injecting to your teams and to the influence that you put onto other people is what's going to make or break you in this business as well, so aside, we know that we're not just all about fitness. This business is three-dimensional. There's so many things that can happen for you in this business, whether it's financial freedom, family, or fitness. There's a lot of things that come from being a leader and gaining that influence from others, okay? So being a leader is having other people see you and not necessarily want to be you, but you give them something to connect with. You give them something to say, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it, okay? And so that's kind of what you want to do when it comes to your business. And social media is unarguably, an amazing tool. You go back 15 years, anybody that was into a network marketing kind of business, they did the grunt work of one-on-ones, going around, meeting people, networking, talking, okay? We have a tremendous tool with social media that, yes, we get to do this over a computer screen or an iPad or a live chat, a webinar, but never forget what your #1 goal is, and that is to influence others, and that's to connect with others. There's no way you're going to do it without that connection. So let's go into the meat of what I mean by that. My #1 rule, okay, and rule #1 is the 80-20 rule. And what does this mean? This means that you should take a step back at what you're posting and say to yourself, am I posting 20% business and 80% me? Okay, what does that mean? For me personally, I love fitness. What brought me to this business was the fitness, but I have other hobbies. I mean, I adore my kids, my 3 kids. I love to travel. I like photography. I like to do my nails. I always post my nails. There's other aspects of me other than fitness. But as a Beachbody coach, if I constantly went out there and just shoved down everyone's throat, Shakeology, workout program, buy this, here's my link, all that kind of stuff, and I didn't share anything about myself with them, it would give them absolutely nothing to connect with. It would make me no different than any other Beachbody coach out there. And let's face it, it makes me no different than an infomercial you can see on the TV, right? So what separates me is what I put out and what I share with people about myself, okay? It gives them something to say, you know what, moms, I have a huge following of moms because I went through 2 pregnancies while still running my Beachbody business, and I kind of showed them what it was like to run a business while still being pregnant and still staying fit, which is a big deal, right? A lot of moms sometimes lose themselves during pregnancy and postpartum. So that gives you a great example of what I mean. If I'm not out there sharing my struggles as a mom, sharing my life as a mom, then it gave no one anything to connect with. So the first rule is 80-20. Make sure that you're spending 20% of your time talking about our new programs, talking about how amazing Shakeology is, but spend the rest of the time putting out there, whether it's humor, okay, share your humor, a funny joke, share tidbits that different things that you like, things that people will say, hey, she's just like me, right? So that's one. Rule #2, and this is a big one, this is a touchy one. Don't post your links publicly, okay? Posting your link publicly to me screams salesperson, okay? That should be something that's done on a private one-to-one basis. What I mean, once someone's reached out to you and said, let's say Kathy, I really want to check out that P90 that you're talking about, but I don't understand what it's about. Private message that person. You start to form with them. We all know what forming is, right? We find out about their family, their occupation, all that kind of good stuff. Ask questions, ask lots of questions, find out what their weaknesses are, find out what they struggle with, find out what they've done in the past that hasn't worked, why they're coming to you. Doing all this creates a connection. The very, very last thing that you should be doing with this person is giving them your link and telling them, okay, now you go here and this is how you order. But if you're putting on every picture that's out there of your workouts and like spraying it with your link, people are going to get turned off. It right away loses that human effect, okay? And it just screams salesperson. And let's face it, like, we live in a world where people are very they're scared to get, I guess, screwed over. They're scared to like fall into some kind of trap. So things like that take away the human effect. I'm really, really against posting your link. Here and there is not a problem. I personally posted in my Instagram in the bio section. So just in case anybody's wondering about what I do, they can click there, they can check out everything. But it's not every single post in your face, here's my link, okay? Rule number 3 that I have for you is to be clear and concise in all your posts. That means that check grammar, make sure that your pictures are clear, make sure that your videos, you took a little bit of time to put them together. All these kinds of things kind of set apart a person that's an amateur and kind of a professional, right? So it's okay if you're not tech savvy. A lot of us are not tech savvy. I wasn't tech savvy, but honestly, I found apps that I thought were interesting and I learned them. I spent time on my phone learning them. If I saw somebody that had a really cool video, I messaged them real quick. Hey, what did you use to make that? I didn't take up too much of their time on asking them how, and I just asked them what app they used, and then I took it upon myself to learn the app. Okay, so, and don't worry, I'm going to have a whole list of fun apps to share with you guys at the end of this call. But being clear and concise, being creative, being someone that catches attention, that's what you want to be, right? Because you want to attract attention. And that's going to set you, again, apart from anybody else. But being sloppy, having blurry pictures, or typos left and right, obviously we're human, typos happen. It happens to me too. But over and over typos, it just screams sloppy to someone. So that's something to be cautious about, right? The next rule I've got is, and you probably hear this a lot, we say facts tell, stories sell. Okay, what does that mean? I'm going to say it again. Facts tell, stories sell. That means that you can sit there and, for example, spew out every superfood in Shakeology, all the wonderful ingredients, all these words you could barely pronounce, because I know I can't pronounce them, and someone's going to look at you and say, and then I got to understand a thing you're saying. But if you go to someone and say, look, I'm drinking this shake, which actually I am, drinking my Shakeology, you can be there saying, this is the shake that I'm drinking. Ever since I started drinking it, I feel super energetic. I wake up in the morning and I feel like I'm ready for my day. I'm not bloated. My muscles are not as sore as usual because the recovery is fantastic. I'm going to the bathroom every single day. I know it's TMI, but hey, that's like a plus, right? Sharing those kinds of things with people, going out there and telling them what Shakeology has done for you, sharing a story. I have coaches who have fought blood pressure problems. Another person that stopped taking their iron supplements because of Shakeology. I have someone that hasn't had to take insulin shots with their diabetes because it's regulated with just diet, Shakeology, and working out. I mean, how amazing is that? Those stories are powerful, way more powerful than any ingredient you can share with somebody. So getting out there and telling a story versus just trying to, again, sell something makes a big difference. creates that connection between you and your followers, and in turn those followers are going to end up coming to you and personally writing to you to connect with whatever you're doing and hopefully soon become a customer coach. But it begins with the following. It begins with the influence that you put on other people. So going out there and there's a way to promote a workout where you're grabbing someone's attention. A good example I can give you is today I posted one where it talked about how my journey began, how I had just had my third baby and I felt a certain way, and my husband and I decided we were going to adopt this lifestyle 1000%, and here we are today, and I've learned perfection. The perfection that I chased in the beginning is not the perfection I want right now. I just want to be happy and live a balanced, healthy life, right? That was telling a story. That was giving the mom out there that might look at someone on a magazine or look at, you know, my page and might think like, there's no way I'll ever be like that, or look at some fitness model, oh, there's no way I'll ever be like that. Make her feel like we're all on the same page. We're all human. We all slip up. Our bottom line is to live healthy and fulfilling lives, right? That's what our motto is. That's what we do. So it's a big difference than just going out there saying, here's P90, you know, here's a cool move, buy it now. Big difference. So that's the rule number 4. Rule number 5 that I have for you is, and this one I kind of ran by my team the other day. It's called having a dynamic business versus having a flat, two-dimensional business. And what does this mean? This means, and this goes a little bit outside of social media, but what I mean by this is being able to take a step back at what you're doing and what you're presenting and figuring out what's working and what's not, what you could do better, what attracts people. Everybody has their own niche. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, I feel my niche is working with women, specifically mothers, because I was once one of those moms that had very low self-esteem after having my kids, who lost myself after having kids. I'm a young mom, so I would look around and realize I'm the only one my age with 3 kids, and my friends are still going out and having fun. So that was something that I was able to connect with. You have your own story, something that nobody can touch, nobody can come close to, because it's your experience. Going out there and sharing it makes you a 3-dimensional business, a dynamic business, versus a flat person who's just going out there and again, like we said, just spewing out the facts. But it also takes a true leader to step back and say, all right, what am I doing and what could I do better? And it takes a leader to look at everything else that's happening around them and saying, okay, I should be trying this out. This seems to be working for someone else, you know, learning from the leaders on top of them. So that's another rule that I have with my team. I always tell them, be a dynamic business. Don't stay two-dimensional, flat, black and white. Get out there, learn as much as you can, and then in turn inject that into your own business and inject that into your own social media accounts, okay, because that counts. Next rule I have is make sure that you're connecting with the followers that are answering you. A lot of times I see people put out these great conversational posts and then they never answer anybody back. Make sure you're taking care of the people that are answering you, okay? And I know it can get crazy. I know for me it gets crazy when I get messages come in and I forget to answer them. But that's what sets it apart for it being that personal connection where they feel like they're talking to you, and that you're not just, you know, because like a lot of times we think that these, you know, celebrities have fake accounts and we tend not to write to them because we think they're never going to read it. Well, in our Beachbody bubble, someone might feel that you're not paying attention to them if you're not answering them, and you never know who that person is. You never know that's going to be your next superstar coach on your team. So make sure that you're connecting with everybody that is connecting with you, okay? And the last rule that I have, and this is a really, really important one, and it kind of follows in with connecting with our followers. It's make sure to be just as interested as you are interesting, okay? A lot of people come to me and ask me, how do you get followers? I don't know what I'm doing wrong, you know? Hashtags work fantastic on Instagram. Facebook adopted that as well. Hashtags is a great way to look up people. Make sure that you're on public if you want hashtags to work. But aside from that, make sure that you're getting out there and liking other people's pictures, talking to other people on their page, showing that you're interested in what they're doing as well, and not just expecting people to be interested in what you are doing. A lot of times we focus so much on being the interesting one, being the one putting out that great picture, that great post. And sometimes I think that people forget that the limelight shouldn't be so much on us, but on others. Getting out there and talking to that one mom that you know is a little wishy-washy after having her baby and she doesn't feel too great about herself, going out there and telling her she's doing a great job when she posts a picture of her sleepless night. You know, it's being interested in others versus being so worried about people being interested in us, right? And again, it goes back to leadership. That's being a true leader. It's helping others. I don't know if you guys, well, I know you guys are all part of Diesel Nation, and I hope you saw that video that Christina posted today in our page, and it falls in line with what I'm saying. A fantastic video about turning around that I need to get this, versus what am I going to give, okay? And that goes back to being interested and not so focused on being the interesting one. Is that cool? Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. So that's the meat of the rules I have. I think if we really follow those rules, it creates a professional business on social media. It creates a connection that it's a fine line that you can either lose that connection with people on over the internet, or you can create that connection. But it all depends on how you run your business. Being consistently present is a big deal. Showing up every day. You never know who you're inspiring. Being there 1 week and then being gone for another 2, it's not going to work out too well. I try to maintain at least, at the bare minimum, 1 post a day, and I max out about 3 or 4. I try not to post too many things because then you just seem like a crazy person, you know, with all these posts. But to keep in constant connection with my pages, with my followers, with my coaches, and everything that I'm doing with my business, right? Showing up to our business every day. So that's really important. So to get through what I think everybody's waiting for, and I know Kathy was really excited to hear, was all the apps that I use. And again, I can give you the list, Kathy, afterwards. You can post it in your team page, but get these apps and play with them. Sit there and check out every little thing that they do. I literally, you know, sit there every night while I'm watching my favorite show in my Q4 time. I don't know if you guys have done time management. You know what a Q4, a quadrant 4, it's a waste of time, but I try to make it productive. I pull out my phone and I start playing around with different pictures and different apps. And so my favorite for editing right now is Line Camera, okay? Rona, which Rona has almost bankrupted me with all the fonts I keep buying. This is really, really awesome. They have a great pre-made stamp feature. The fonts on there are awesome as well. PicStitch is what I use for collages. For some reason, there was another one that I was using. If I could remember what it is, hold on 1 second, I can tell you. There was one that I was using, but I kept seeing lines in it. Instacollage. Instacollage kept creating lines between my pictures when I didn't want them, so I didn't like it. Camera Plus, a lot of times I use this feature where everyone tells me that it looks like everybody's glowing. It makes all the colors very vibrant, and every time I use it, I always get someone ask me, what app is that? It's called Camera Plus, the plus sign, and it's called the HD filter if you're looking for that specific effect. Now for videos, I like to use Flipagram, which that's like a slideshow app that you can also insert music into, which is pretty cool. And they have a great music library that's their music. It's like snippets of songs. So if you don't have a lot of space on your phone, like I know I don't have like a whole long library of music, but this Flipagram gives you the ability to use their music. Pick, Play, Post, that's the great collage app where you can have pictures and videos running at the same time. Splice. Splice is a really interesting one because that's the first one that I found that would do these really cool transitions of pictures and different effects, like making it speed up or slow down. The other day I did a slow motion video, which everybody thought was really cool. I liked it a lot too. And Splice is the one that does that. And then there's the other two apps that I want to share with you today that I think are really important. A lot of times you'll see, especially on Instagram, where somebody's picture will be like cut off like this, and you don't see what's happening over here, you don't see what's happening over here. There's an app for that. It's called Square Ready. And that means that a picture that's rectangular, you can fit perfectly into the square, right? Super cool. A lot of times I see pictures cut off like this, and then you can't see everything, and it just, again, gives a sloppy effect. So Square Ready, there's one for video as well. If your video is long and you're trying to fit it into a square, you can get it sized in, and that's Square Ready Video. Again, Kathy, I can give you these lists of apps, and you can place it into your team page. And then one other thing that I wanted to share with you, which is Christina Delgado's actually her favorite little program she's using right now, is called PicMonkey.com, and that's on your PC. So it's not an app, but if you don't have a smartphone and apps are not your thing, or using your phone's not your thing, PicMonkey is really cool. There's features that are free, and then you can upgrade for like literally 50 cents a month for the whole year, and you get to use like the extended version, which is really cool. And that's pretty much what I've got for you guys. So Kathy, is there any questions that you think you have, or anything you want to elaborate on?
I actually did have one very specific question, and it has to do with the links. I'm not sharing links, and I guess I just wanted a clarification as to the page, because I'll put on photos, I'll put a link to I'll email address or to my Facebook like page. Think that's salesy as well, or are you talking specifically about the Beachbody coach?
Yeah. I was talking about the Beachbody coach link. Linking someone to another social media site is perfectly cool because you're connecting with them, right? It's not saying, screaming like, buy this from me now, you know? The Beachbody coach one is a little different because it just, I don't know. It's just a tacky feel to me. Again, everybody can have their own opinion. This is just what I feel. And a lot of people a lot of leaders that I've talked to in the business have told me the same thing. They feel the same way. It just cuts that connection in half with somebody. But you know, someone on Instagram, you know, Instagram's fantastic, but it's very hard to connect with people. You can't do a one-on-one message with them, you know, so routing them over to your Facebook account is fantastic because there you can private message them. So I don't see any problem with that at all.
Okay. I mean, there are some of these I've heard before. One of the ones that I haven't really implemented. It's one of those things that just kind of slips out of your brain. And it goes, actually wrote like 5 pages of what you were saying, which is be then interesting. And I hadn't quite out how to do that. Instagram, like I remember somebody at some point said, you know, if somebody comments on your Instagram post, make sure that you reply.
Yeah.
Or answer the question. But I hadn't really processed the idea of actually looking, not, you know, and going and kind of reaching out to them and liking their photos and kind of having that reciprocity of interest and both ways, and also using the hashtags. Hello, like that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the fact. I had a question for you. How do you feel? Because I think about the apps.
Say that again, because you were a little choppy. I didn't hear that last part.
What is your opinion on the efficiency of the app, or any kind of app that gives you like bulk hashtags?
Oh, I I've used them before, back when I first started. Again, I'm just not a fan of it. I just put hashtags that I really feel like come from me. I don't put like a whole paragraph of them. I just put the important ones that really do connect with my pictures. Sometimes I'll see a picture of like, I don't know, a pencil, and they'll hashtag fit mom, and I just don't get it. And so I've seen that before, and it just looks like, what, I didn't get that. And a lot of times that happens with those pre-made paragraphs of hashtags. So I don't use them. I make up my own. The other different thing about Instagram, for example, before the popular page, what used to be called the popular page, which is that middle button that you have between your camera and your news feed, it used to be the highest like pictures would pop up there. Today, Instagram's changed that. Now it's pictures of whatever you're liking, your interests are, they're placing those people in your hands. So if there's, based on your, it'll say it, based on your likes, we think you'll like this person. And that's where I hang out more than anything. That's where hashtags still work, but it's giving you the people that you may connect with right there for at your reach. So I play a lot on that page, and I check out, a lot of times it's Beachbody coaches already, but sometimes you'll find that mom out there, like I said, that's who I connect with, or that bride to be, or you know, the fit couples, those kinds of people. So that's a good tip also.
Okay. Do you think that, I feel like I'm interviewing you.
No,
do you feel that ever since and I am asking this because I'm a very big tags for likes user.
okay.
I'm very heavy on it was just kind of one of those things that was thrown out there when I was starting as a coach, and it's just kind of like, okay, that's what they said I should do, so I did.
Right.
Have you seen a difference in successful posts ever since you stopped using the massive amounts of hashtags, or it's just you just don't like the big bulk of hashtags?
I just didn't
business-wise,
see.
affected it in any way?
Yeah, I just didn't see like this gush of like business come my way using them, and I just realized, like, I mean, I can't really tell you because I don't know how people find me on Instagram. Instagram is hard for you to realize where people are coming from, but what I've realized is what kinds of posts get attention are usually posts that have to do. And again, this is my niche. I know what my niche is, and I work on my niche. And I know it's when it has to do with me and my kids, and me with the healthy, you know, my own transformation, and when it has to do with me going full-time into the business, the freedom that I've experienced, being now a full-time Beachbody coach. So those kinds of things I know people are interested in, whether it has a hashtag or not, which is pretty cool. Sometimes I forget to even put them. So the tags for likes, I mean, will it create followers? Possibly, but it wasn't any kind of spike where I realized I had to do this every single post, and it's time consuming.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and that's why I was asking. I haven't really seen a vast amount of likes or followers that have been generated from particular. So that's why I was wondering, and you didn't mention it as one of the apps to use, so that's why I was curious about it. That is all the questions that I have. I've been checking to see if anybody's sending me any kind of questions for you, but I don't see them. So I want to thank you. I troubleshoot earlier twice, and for being on this call.
It was fun. I hope that it's useful information.
Yeah, it's one of those learning things where you're just like, yeah, I'll just think that's exactly what I'm thinking. Right, like, okay, next time, and any meeting. But again, thank you so much for.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to everybody who was able to. Thank you, and to everybody that was able to make the call. Thank you. Yay! We'll post it on YouTube. Yay! And if anybody has any questions or any feedback, let me or Monica know, and we'll get back at you.
Most definitely.
So with that,
Good night, everyone.
I'm sorry. Night.